This is Oshkosh Today, your connection to events and organizations in the Oshkosh area. Oshkosh Today is supported in part by the Friends of OCM, Aurora Healthcare, 855 Northwest Haven Drive. Set design provided by House of Flowers, 1920 Algoma Boulevard.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us on Oshkosh Today, your source for all things local Oshkosh. We have yet another fun show lined up for today, so let's go ahead and see who's on deck for this segment, or for this show here. We'll start out with Waterfest, which is about halfway through their season. We'll hear about how the season's going so far and the big shows that they have coming up for the rest of the summer at the Leach. Then also at the Leach Amphitheater is the annual Mayor's Community Breakfast, and who better to tell us about that than the mayor himself. We'll chat with Mayor Bergtauer on the history of the event, what's special about it this year, and what will be on the menu. After that, Oshkosh will become Aviation Central at the end of this month as EAA Air Venture fires up. We'll hear all about the highlights, and there are a lot of them for this year. Then we'll hear about a really unique event held here in Oshkosh called the Giving Gala, a festival to celebrate the act of giving. Our final guest is the Lakeside Quilters Guild, and they'll tell us about a fun event they have coming up, as well as what their organization is all about. As always, we'll wrap up the show with a segment of Focus on Health with our friends at Aurora. So we'll get on to our first guest here, Chuck Hurdle. Thank you so much for coming in to tell us about Waterfest yet again.
Yeah, thank you, Emily, for having us.
Now, you guys are about halfway through the season here. How's it been going so far?
It's going very well. We've had a few challenges with the weather, but we're going right in the heart of our season, and we're looking forward to it, and we expect really a good rest of the season.
Yes, the weather has been a little bit iffy lately this summer,
Yeah.
but you know, it looks like it's supposed to be great for the rest of this month. So what can we expect for July and August?
Well, we've got, I don't know if this program is going to show by the time the Under the Sun show takes place. That's 4 headliners. It's one of the biggest acts we've ever had at Waterfest. We expect a huge crowd. After that, we're going into some weekend things, which we've really not done for decades, really, for Waterfest. That starts on the 24th with Sister Hazel, and the following night, on Friday night, we have the Gin Blossoms and Ted Nugent on Saturday night. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, that's something new for us. So we'll see how the community likes it or doesn't like it. We're confident that we're putting good entertainment before them, and hopefully they'll support that type of scheduling.
Yes, and I think it's really cool how the weekend is kind of opening up for Waterfest, that people are able to, you know, not have to move around their schedules or worry about, you know, having a weeknight concert or anything like that. So I think it'll probably be pretty successful. So, I mean, I know we talked about this a little bit last time, but for those of us who missed it, what makes Waterfest so special and such a jewel here in Oshkosh?
Well, we like to say that we're the Midwest best community concert series, and we truly are. We think we've got one of the best venues anywhere in the Midwest. We've got a quality lineup. Every night we have a national act, a regional act, and we try to put in some local acts to get some exposure. The event is supported by 24 different service groups. They contribute 7,500 man hours to the event. We have sponsors in the community. That all coming together permits us to put on a concert series that everybody can afford and can enjoy. If we were to pay this or pay for all those expenses and without the sponsorships, it would be more than twice as expensive. So this truly is a community event, and we've had long-standing community support, and I think that's what makes us unique.
Yes, and it's the definition of a community event, of all these people coming together to have something like this. Maybe let's talk a little bit more about the artists that we have coming up. I know you said we have the Under the Sun tour tomorrow, so this will air for about a day after or before that concert, but coming up after that, what do we have?
Well, first off, we have Sister Hazel. They've had their 90s act, but they've continued on. They still have some new stuff coming out. You know, people recognize that band. With them is Miles Nilsson. His father was with Cheap Trick. Many people know them, and we have a local band before that.
That one I recognize.
Yeah, and then the Gin Blossoms. We've had the Gin Blossoms here a number of times. they've got what we call a pretty good library of songs that people recognize and enjoy. And so that's on Friday night, and so we're pretty happy about that.
Yes, and what are some of the other things that Waterfest has to offer? I mean, you not only get an awesome concert, but it's really a whole kind of experience, right?
Yes, I mean, we've got food from all different sources, different beers. We have wine now finally. And the people come there, it's a social gathering, you know people. It's a kind of a intimate setting actually for such a big venue. And so it's a social event, plus it's entertainment.
Yes, and you are able to bring, chairs and blankets and that kind of stuff in if you want to come a little early and, sit and relax
Yes, so
for a
you
while.
most certainly are welcome to bring chairs, blankets, whatever to keep you comfortable. You can go in and out. If it's cooling off and you have a jacket out in your car, you can go get it. We do, in consideration of what we expect to be the crowd that night, we kind of set the area outside of which you can set up your chair, or blanket, or what have you.
Okay, and there are different kinds of seats that you can have, well, not seats, but different tickets that you can buy. Do you want to maybe talk about those a little
Yeah,
bit?
for a couple of our shows, the Under the Sun show, the Ted Nugent show, and America, we have a VIP area roped off, which for a few bucks more you can have a little bit more space, and you'll be assured a close spot to the stage. So that's a little bit more. You can contact our website, waterfest.org, or the chamber, or any of us, and we'll get you connected with those types of passes.
Very cool. Right up in the action. That would
Right,
be really
right
cool
up there,
for those
right up front.
concerts. And so what kind of, you have some specials that, for different days or different people. Maybe you could talk about that a little bit.
Yes, we have community nights. All the remaining nights except the Under the Sun, Ted Nugent, and in America, it's 2 for 1 before 6 o'clock, and so you get there early. Buy 2 of you pay for 1 ticket. 2 of you get in. You can leave and come back, and you're good to go for the rest of the night.
It's an excellent deal.
Yeah, it is. It really
and
is.
So, like you said before, you can go in and out as you need to. So if you do end up coming earlier and it starts to get chillier, like it has been, you can just run out and get a blanket or a jacket or whatever else. And do you have any kind of specials? I think you had something for veterans, maybe?
Yes, veterans always are welcome free. All you have to do is show your veterans ID, and we're happy to have you in without any charge whatsoever.
Very cool. And then maybe you want to just talk a little bit about what's behind Waterfest. What's the goal behind Waterfest, really?
Well, when Waterfest, back in the mid-'80s, early '80s, economic times were bad, and we were trying to, when this was started, the chamber was trying to, kind of put forth the best of Oshkosh, and we've been doing and emphasizing that ever since. People come down to downtown, and they've not been there for a long time, and they get to see what's going on. They should be. If you haven't been downtown Oshkosh for, let's say, a couple of years, you'll be thrilled to see what new developments and what has taken place in the last few years. It's great. And
what better way to showcase the Riverwalk and the water and everything? It's just beautiful down there, along with this awesome concert.
Yeah, so. the Leach Amphitheater, which again was also part of the community coming together and putting something wonderful for the community. So yeah, it's I think Waterfest was made for the Leach Amphitheater. And it all ties in with the development that's going on down by the river.
Definitely. Now we got a few seconds left, so maybe you would just want to tell us a little bit about where people can find more information or buy tickets or anything else.
Yeah. Well, of course you can buy them at the door. You can get online, www.waterfest.org, call the Chamber of Commerce, and those are your best sources.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much again, Chuck, for coming in and telling us about Waterfest. And I know we're all really looking forward to these big concerts coming up.
Yeah, come on out. It's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
Great. Coming up next, you'll want to mark your calendars for this year's Mayor's Communities Breakfast for a big anniversary celebration that we'll be having. We'll be right back on Oshkosh Today.
Take it slow, take it slow, take it slow. When we see a roundabout, take it slow. Then we pick the correct lane and take it slow. slow. When we see a car approach, we yield to the left. When we're in that roundabout, we don't pass anybody yet. Take it slow, take it slow, take it slow.
Visit WisconsinRoundabouts.com for more info from the Wisconsin Department of Transportation.
Do you know or have a family member with a disability? Cerebral Palsy of Mideast, Wisconsin is here to help. We offer programs and services that make a positive difference for individuals that are affected by a variety of disabilities. Volunteers are always welcome, and your financial gifts are truly appreciated and tax deductible. For more details, log on to www.cpmideastwis.com or call 1-800-261-1895. Thanks for supporting Cerebral Palsy of Mideast, Wisconsin.
Welcome back to Oshkosh Today. Now we have Mayor Burke Tower in the studio to tell us about a really fun event that goes on every year during EAA, the Mayor's Community Breakfast. So Mayor Burke Tower, thank you so much for coming in today.
It's great to be here and to have this opportunity to.
Always great to have you in here. And I guess first off, if you just want to tell us, for those of us who don't know, what exactly is the Mayor's Community Breakfast?
Well, first of all, this is our 25th year of having it.
25
It's been
years.
around for a while, so that's pretty exciting in and of itself. And it started off really as a breakfast to bring the community together with people who came from EAA. And so we used to have a breakfast. The Chamber of Commerce ran it for a number of years downtown. And then over time, as EAA has become busier and busier and has more going out, fewer people were coming down from EAA, although we still have a good number, and more community people. So we decided to make it a community breakfast, but still the same time on Friday, Friday, August 1. We'll be down at the Leach. We'll start at 6 o'clock in the morning and be serving breakfast up until 10 o'clock. We'll have a program probably about 8 o'clock. We'll have great food, 2 kinds of eggs. We got some special eggs.
2 kinds of eggs.
We got some special eggs that are just put together for the Mayor's Community Breakfast, and then regular eggs for those that don't want to adventure quite as much.
Yes.
It'll cost people $5, the best $5 breakfast in town. Not only will be the eggs, sausage, we'll have some potatoes, and we'll finish up with some ice cream too.
And this is kind of a new addition to the breakfast, right? The ice
Well,
cream.
at times it's kind of been off and on, but this year we've
Okay.
brought it back again because we
Yes.
weren't able to have it last year. So we're going to have ice cream back
It's
again
never
this
too
year.
early for ice cream either.
Never
You
too
can always
early.
have ice cream for breakfast.
Yes, extremely good. We'll start the day off right, and we'll have
Yes.
some entertainment down there too. We have a piano player and a singer who play music from all the various decades, who are great, very popular around here. Joe Scheibinger, and Janice Marie. So that's and we'll have Miss Oshkosh will be here also. We're hoping to have Miss Wisconsin, but that hasn't been confirmed yet.
Okay. Well, I mean, Miss Oshkosh, I mean, you can't beat her, really.
No, not at all.
No. And so, like you said, at first it was, trying to draw EAA visitors. Is there still that goal there to try and get some EAA people down?
We would like to get as many as we can, and so we'll advertise it and get some down, but also it's an opportunity for people in the community to come together, just share some food together and talk to some people that maybe they know and some that they don't know, and get to know some people at the same time. Most of the council members will be there, a number of department heads from the city, and there'll be some other politicians. We'll probably have a state senator and state representative there. So it's a nice opportunity for people in Oshkosh to meet on an informal basis, not only their neighbors, but some of the people that they may hear about or see on television or may have some impact on their lives, and they can do it in an informal setting. So
Definitely.
let's just get together and have a great social.
Have that face-to-face contact and conversation, like you said, in an informal
Exactly.
setting.
So-
And the way that they make the eggs is the coolest thing, I swear. They probably showed it already, but this huge skillet. And are you going to be helping with that at all this year?
I probably won't be helping with that. There's a group, Vicki Schrader, who has been doing it for years, has her groups from 4Imprint, and she's got a little method that she uses. She's got a special formula for the eggs, and put them in the big pot and make those. I'll be spending probably more time
Yes.
running around doing some different things, and then I'll moderate the program that we'll have at that
Yes.
on the day.
And what you mentioned a program. Maybe you can talk a little bit more about that. What can we
Well,
expect for
it
that?
will not
this
be
year?
extensive. It'll be relatively short, but we'll get a chance to introduce some people, and we're hoping to have as many of the past 25 mayors as we can. I won't be 25 because some have served multiple terms. We hope to have as many of the past mayors as possible come back down. I'll have Miss Oshkosh talk, Miss Wisconsin, if she happens to be there. I'll do a greeting and talk about a few things. So it won't be real long, so people can focus on interacting with each other and
Yes, and eating their delicious breakfast.
and
of
eating their
course.
breakfast. Plenty of food. Plenty
Yes.
of food.
Anything special for the anniversary? Maybe just some special words at the program, probably?
I'll probably say a few extra words at the program, but have some of the former mayors there and have them go out and interact, which ought to be kind of fun. But we don't want to dilute what the breakfast is, which is really an opportunity for people to get together and enjoy each other in an informal setting.
Yes. Maybe you could talk a little bit about the planning that goes into this. It's really largely volunteer-based, right?
It's down to about 6 people. At one time, the
Really?
Chamber of Commerce did it, and then they no longer were doing it. And so some volunteers did it for a while, and the volunteers have changed. And right now, they're really just 6 folks. Rick Vanderloop, who's out at Festival Food, who probably most people know who are involved in events, because Festival Foods is a great community citizen,
Really
always.
is.
Vicki Schrader, who's with 4Imprint, Trish Marks, who's with the Parks Department. Bob Brunel will be there from Cumulus. He'll be there, and of course Jeff Potts from the Convention Bureau, and then I'm involved with it. So 6 of us kind of put it together, and then we put out requests for volunteers, and we'll probably have 35, 40 people volunteering to help us serve or help us clear or help us take money, help us do whatever. So
Yes, and it's
a lot of volunteers and some organizations in town do support it too.
kind of the dream team. You got your core 6 people, and then you just draw all these people in, and it really is. I mean, I attended the mayor's breakfast last year, and it was like 2 days after I moved here, and I thought it was the coolest thing. I've never seen anything like this that has this many people getting together to have breakfast that early in the morning as well.
those who get
And even the interesting people that you get down there from EAA too, just to kind of showcase that Oshkosh is not only EAA and AirVenture. There's a whole beautiful downtown that a lot of people that visit for EAA don't realize.
I think so. Again, as I think Chuck Hurl happened to mention with Waterfest, anything we can do to bring more and more people downtown so they can interact and have fun. Winters are mighty cold up here. People don't go outside during the winter. When
very
summertime, it's time to come down and meet your neighbors.
Yes, and so I guess are you always looking for volunteers? So if
We're
someone's
always
thinking,
looking for volunteers, so anyone who would like to volunteer could call Jeff Potts at the Convention Bureau and let him know. That would be good. 'Cause
Yes.
we love to have people come in and volunteer, and volunteers generally get a T-shirt and a free breakfast, so that's always a
And you always have the
That's
coolest
always
T-shirts
nice.
too. I mean, you're wearing
got-
one right now
we got
with the
the
black and
T-shirt,
white this year.
black
Very
and
nice.
white, 25th anniversary, so we'll be selling some of those. We got some cool hats too,
Oh, great.
which are two-tone and have the logo on it and everything, so have an
Yes.
opportunity to purchase those and get a little bit of Oshkosh history at the same time.
Definitely. And we got about a minute left, so maybe if you want to just talk about where people can find more information if they are looking for.
Well, I think they can get some tickets at this point at the Convention Bureau or out at Festival Food. The primary information we'll put out there, we'll have some signs out there. Or they can call the Convention Bureau. They could
And
be
I
talking
think you do have
about
a
it in some of
Facebook
the
page
meetings.
as well. So if you like the Mayor's Community Breakfast on Facebook, then I think they announce the date every year on there.
that's
So you'll be good for the rest of your life if you just like
That's
them on
right.
Facebook, right?
That's right. That's
Great.
right. So
Well-
we'll also be doing some social media.
Oh, yes.
To all the people that we know at the same time. And so hopefully we can get you to do the same.
Oh yes, I
You
will
can
be there
Twitter it
taking
out.
pictures, and it'll also be broadcast again here on CATV2 for people who might not have made it or who slept in a little too long for
That's right.
breakfast. So thanks so much for coming in today, Burke, and telling us all about the Mayor's
Well,
Breakfast.
thanks for letting us promote it here. It's
Yes.
always good to see you, Emily. See you again. Thank you.
Up next, it's an event people come for from far and wide. It's EAA AirVenture, and we're going to hear all about it right after this short break. We'll be right back on Oshkosh Today.
Hi, I'm Mayor Burktower, and I'm asking for your help. The city has several boards and commissions that play important roles in just about every aspect of local government. Whether it's the Parks Board or the Landmarks Commission, these and other boards act as a forum for citizens to address their concerns and questions about Oshkosh city government. The boards also provide members the opportunity to make positive suggestions to the council or city staff to move the city forward. So here's where we need your help. For our city to work effectively, we need active citizen participation. Many of our boards and commissions currently need members. We're asking for just a few hours of your time each month to serve on one of our boards or commissions and help to ensure a strong democratic process. So please consider serving on a city board or commission. For an application, visit the city website, stop by the city manager's office in City Hall, or call 236-5000. Thank you for your interest, and we look forward to your possible involvement.
We're back on Oshkosh today, and carrying on our EAA theme, we have the EAA Air Venture specialist here, Dick Napinski from EAA. So thanks so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having us.
And we have a lot to talk about. I mean, there's so many things that is included in Air Venture. So I guess where do we even start? What's going on opening day?
Well, opening day is always a huge day. The world literally comes to Oshkosh. People from 65 countries come here. And we've got the full air show. We've got some interesting things on Monday. A group of pilots coming down from Alaska, where they have a competition every May in Valdez, short takeoff and landing. Now these guys are flying their airplanes down from Alaska to give us a demonstration and their own little contest here in Oshkosh. They land and take off their airplanes in less than 100 feet.
Oh my gosh.
The world record is 27 feet. So they can land an airplane from airborne to complete stop in less than the length of your house. And so they'll be putting on demonstrations for a few days at Air Venture. Then after the air show, we've got Kenny Loggins coming in for the opening night concert, which we've had for the past decade or so. And we're looking forward to that. All the airplane geeks out there always like Top Gun and his song Danger Zone.
Oh,
so
yeah.
They're already humming that one. So that's just opening day. You're right, and it's a full week this year.
Gosh. And that's amazing. The 27 feet you said?
27 feet.
Mm-hmm. You sure they're not flying helicopters
No,
or
it's
something
not.
out there?
It's just
Wow.
Yep.
And you couldn't ask for a better person to open up the concert that night, Kenny Loggins. I mean,
It is.
Perfect.
We've had great concerts through the years. The Beach Boys, Doobie Brothers, Foreigner, Chicago, they've all been at Air Venture, so it's great to have the opportunity to have Kenny Loggins there as well.
Definitely. And something that is creating a lot of buzz, actually, is the Air Force Thunderbirds. So can you tell us a little bit about them?
Indeed. It's the first time ever we've had their full show here. You consider 62 years of EAA conventions, and we've never had an American military jet team perform their full show. And it really has been an effort through EAA, FAA, the airport, the businesses, community, those living around the airport, really a collaborative, cooperative effort that's made this happen. So they will be appearing, they'll be coming in right at the end of the air show on Thursday, July 31st, parking there and then performing what they call their dress rehearsal on Friday, August 1st, which is a full show, and then Saturday and Sunday, August 2nd and 3rd, the full shows as the final act of the air show is in the afternoon those days.
Excellent. I know a lot of people are looking forward to that, among all the other things, of course. And let's talk a little bit more about the air shows. I mean, you have the Air Force Thunderbirds, but you also have air shows every day or every afternoon as well.
Every afternoon we have the air show, starts at about 2:30 and goes until about 6. And some of the world's best aerobatic performers. You'll see tandem aerobatics, you'll see solo aerobatics, you'll see military aircraft, brand new aircraft all coming in. And then of course we have the 2 night air shows coming up too. And if people have never seen a night air show, in just 5 years this has become one of the most popular elements for the EA member as well as the community. We see people sitting all over the place on the EA grounds, the other side of the field, up around the airport terminal, taking in the night air show. It is something spectacular. It's done in very few parts of the country, and we're very happy to bring it back to Oshkosh.
That is amazing. So, when you say a night air show with fireworks, where are the fireworks concerned here? They're not shooting them off from the planes or anything, are they?
Some of them are. There are
Really?
pyrotechnics actually on some of the airplanes, on the wingtip and the bellies underneath, and I almost equate it to when you were little, taking a sparkler and writing your name through the air. Imagine doing that with an airplane, off the wingtips and underneath. And so that's how it takes place. And then we have huge fireworks display and the big wall of fire at the end to finish off that show both nights. So again, it's really become a crowd favorite.
Amazing. Another thing not to miss, of course. And throughout the week, during the day, there's going to be a lot of different things on display and demonstrating. Maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
Sure. We have a lot of new aircraft. A lot of aviation companies hang on to their new innovations to announce them at Oshkosh because they're in the aviation audience, the world's media is here and so forth. So a lot of new airplanes get introduced. We have a place called Innovation Pavilion as well, where we're introducing new aircraft, new things. Some of the small inventors who aren't quite yet up to the full exhibit space, but they have great things, kind of geekdom, I guess you might want to call it, that people get into that. One thing is 3D printing. Some people may have heard about that. And 3D printers are now starting to build airplane parts. You make the design, you put it into the printer, and through composites, you actually create an aircraft part. These are some of the things and where it's going next.
Really like the latest and greatest that you're seeing here.
It really is, yep.
And I read something about a 1 week wonder type of thing. What can you explain to us about that?
It's easy. We're going to build an airplane in a week.
Oh my gosh.
We're going to start at 8 o'clock Monday morning on July 28th with a box of parts. And by Sunday afternoon, the end of the air show, we are going to have, hopefully, an airplane ready to make its first flight test. We're not going to flight test it right there, but we're going to have the taxi test. We're going to have it ready to go. And we'll have a lot of volunteers working on it. And people who attend AirVenture can come in, pop a rivet, do some other things, and get a certificate that say they've participated in an airplane build.
That is so cool. And something I didn't know until I moved to Oshkosh is that there are kits for planes. Is that kind of what they're doing with the kit?
Right. It's a Zenith aircraft kit.
Okay.
And kit airplanes have become very, very popular. More than 1,000 of them are registered each year with the FAA. And we're very fortunate to have a company right here in Oshkosh, and Sonics, that builds those kits. And so it's become an aviation center with EAA and Sonics right at our own airport.
Yes, and all these businesses throughout Oshkosh, these aviation businesses, are able to showcase what they've got too, which is also just so cool about this whole week-long event. Do you want to talk about something special going on for veterans during the week as well?
We do. We have our Salute to Veterans Day. That's on Friday, August 1st. A few things happening that day. First of all, we have the Honor Flight, which is 100 Vietnam veterans will take off from AirVenture. American Airlines is supplying the airliner. They'll go to Washington, look at the memorials there, and come back, and they'll arrive right at the end of the air show, right at the end of the Thunderbirds performance. And so we'll have thousands of people out on the flight line welcoming these veterans back. Many of their family members will be there, but to get a welcome home, which especially from the Vietnam era, a lot of these veterans did not receive when they came home back in the early 70s, and give them the opportunity to get the recognition they deserve. And then we have a Veterans Parade on the grounds the same day. We've got a big concert going on that night from Big Bad Voodoo Daddy, Disabled American Veterans Organization, and our own Warbirds of America are sponsoring that. So it's going to be a full day, a salute to our vets and active military also get reduced prices at the gate throughout the week.
Good to know. And I think that's amazing that there's going to be an honor flight during EAA. And I mean, these honor flights, they mean so much to the veterans. I've become friends with Doc Sunlightner over the past few months here, and he just recently went on one out at Appleton, and he could not stop talking about it and how much it meant to him and everything. And so I think that really could be one of the highlights, I think.
It really is, to see them come back and see the families and the air show crowd there welcome them home. Another nice touch is, over the past few years, the UW Oshkosh football team has assisted at the jet and assisting any mobility issues, things like that. And that's been a nice piece of community that's been involved in that as well.
It's just so cool. We got about a minute left, and so maybe you want to talk, there is some special stuff for kids too.
Yep, we have Kid Venture. It's a huge pavilion right at our Pioneer Airport. 25,000 kids go through this. They learn about aeronautics, aerodynamics, everything else, while having fun. They don't even know they're learning things at that point. So it is something that has built up through the years, over about 15 years, and it's a place where families, kids, they can build model rockets, build model airplanes, take apart, put together an airplane engine. Just a lot of fun, hands-on things that is intriguing to kids and so forth.
It just goes to show there really is something for everyone at this AirVenture event. So maybe just wrap up and let us know where we can find more information and buy tickets and all that fun stuff.
Best place, www.airventure.org is the website, airventure.org. We also have a brand new app. You can download it for free on your smartphone, Kindle Fire, whether it's an Android, iPhone, whatever it is. Has all the schedules, real-time updates, a great way for people, if they're on the grounds or off the grounds, to keep up with us.
Yeah, keep up with the schedule and everything too. I mean, just
there's a lot going
see what
on.
You're going to do next. So, hey, thanks so much, Dick, for coming in and telling us all about this. I know we could talk for an hour, but we're all looking forward to EAA AirVenture, and thanks again for coming in.
My pleasure. Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break here on Oshkosh Today, and when we come back, we'll get into the spirit of giving in preparation for this year's Oshkosh Giving Gala. We'll be right back on Oshkosh Today.
Wisconsin is losing our World War II veterans. If you were a World War II veteran, or you know one who hasn't gone on an honor flight to D.C., please help us. The Wisconsin Broadcasters Association is partnering with all Wisconsin Honor Flight hubs to make sure every eligible vet remaining who served their country so selflessly gets the chance to go. It's time for them to see their memorial. It's time for their flight. To learn more or to make a donation, go to wisconsinhonorflight.org.
Thinking about dealing drugs in our county? Think again.
Welcome back to Oshkosh Today, and now we have a really unique event here in the studio to tell us about the spirit of giving and why it's so important here in Oshkosh. So I have Eliana Briones and Andrea McCann here to tell us about the Giving Gala here in Oshkosh. So thank you, ladies, for coming in today.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Definitely. And do you want to maybe just start out and let us know what exactly is the Giving Gala? I mean, when I first heard it, it kind of makes sense to me, but what exactly is it?
It is a community organization where we're emphasizing on the ability to give without expectations and to receive without guilt.
Okay.
So we're just kind of teaching each other how to interact in a community setting.
We invite people to bring their useful goods, information, knowledge, skills, friendship. All sorts of giving is encouraged, so everyone should come down and share what they can with each other in the community to try to interact and contribute something positive.
Such a cool event. And when exactly is it, actually?
It is July 26th. That's a Saturday, and it's going to be right down in Grand Opera House Square. It goes from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Oh, great. Perfect times. You don't have to get up too early for it or anything like that. So how long has this been going on? I mean, it seems like it's kind of grown over the years.
We have been doing it for the last 3 years. And originally it was inspired by Robin and her daughter. She's an Oshkosh community member. She started the event because of her experiences with the Occupy movement and some of the other social experiences that she had, and she felt that the community could really benefit from something like this and started doing it.
She was really inspired by the gift economy and the idea that instead of being so revolved around money, our society could go more on giving and sharing with each other and trying to, contribute towards each other to work towards a more interdependent and sustainable community.
Mm-hmm. And it's just so cool. I mean, you showed us, or you sent us some pictures that we were showing earlier, and it seems like such a lighthearted and good-natured event. What kind of things do people bring to the day to give?
We've had all sorts of different people. We've had people come down telling stories. We've had, items, useful items, any items that, you would maybe naturally give to Goodwill or the thrift store. You can bring those down and offer those to people as well. It's also about sharing experiences, knowledge. You could set up a booth. You could teach somebody how to knit something. You could come down there with your knitting. You could do knot tying. It's about, just spending that time sharing what you have with someone else, and us, putting aside our shyness or our insecurities and coming up to each other and interacting and learning, and what's this about? Or
it's not only about giving, but it really is about interacting, and I think you can spark some really cool conversations in that way.
It's always interesting to see what people value and how they can contribute. And it's such a thing that not only do we grow as a community, but we grow within ourselves, trying to, you know, share and give and contribute. And we've seen all sorts of interesting things happening down there. People dance, people sing. It's just overall a really fun time. So
definitely. And I think I even saw a picture that someone had a bunch of photography equipment out, and it's such a wide variety of things.
Yes, we've seen microscopes, pots and pans, books, clothes, you name it. People bring down food and share, and just, you know, there's nothing really off limits, except we do say no trade, no barter, no money. No money
soliciting.
No soliciting.
It's 100% free, and we'd like to keep it a non-commercial event.
Right.
So we're not trying to promote businesses or anything like that. It's just about people.
Yep. It's about the community. It's about definitely not about advertising or soliciting. It's just because we are our community. So we try to come together and do good things for each other and contribute in that way. Just
kind
get
of keeping
involved.
it pure in a way, you know. And so you said you don't want any, you know, sponsors or soliciting or anything like that.
No.
How often does this event occur? I mean, is it an annual thing, or?
Yes, we do it every summer, and right now the location is set on Grand Opera House Square, and that's where it originated. So we like to keep it in sort of a free space that's not, you know, excluding to anyone or any sort of culture or ages. It's definitely something that's open for everybody, and yeah, we like the space down there because it's kind of in the heart of downtown, and it's just a nice area.
It's kind of a high traffic area too, which is great because people who might not know about it could just be walking by and see this awesome thing going on. So.
Yes. Well, the farmers market too kind of overlaps with that, so it's a great reason to come downtown and check out what's happening.
Definitely. And if people are looking for more information, I know you guys are on Facebook, correct?
Yes, we have a Facebook event page for the Giving Gala, and we also have more information at the Underground Arts Collective located at 321 Market Street. So we have more flyers and info, and can tell more about the event. So.
Very cool. And if you're interested in participating in the Giving Gala, do you have to sign up or anything like that, or is there?
Sorry.
You know, I know that's fine. If there's, I mean, are there any like areas, or how do you set up? I guess.
Basically, anyone is welcome to come on down. Sometimes people might bring their own tables, boxes, blankets. They can bring their items down. We can set up beforehand. We're going to be down there probably as early as 8 a.m. starting to set up. So. People are encouraged to bring their own items in, and at the end, whatever might be left over can either be then brought to different thrift stores or saved up for the next Giving Gala, although it is a year away. But you know, some people really like to
never
set
too early
aside.
To start.
Right.
Great. Well, we're about time to wrap up here, so maybe if you want to just let us know once more the date, time, location, and where you can find more info.
Yep.
The 26th of July, and it's at Grand Opera House Square, and it from 11 till 4 p.m.
Yes, and for more information, you can find it around town, or there's
Facebook.
always the Facebook page.
Yep.
Great. Well, Eliana and Andrea, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Just such a cool event. I'm really looking forward to it. So,
great.
Coming up after this short break, our final guest, the Lakeside Quilters Guild, will tell us all about their talents, about their organization, and about a fun event they have coming up. We'll be right back on Oshkosh Today.
If you stop and think about it, your local park and recreation department brings more to your life than you may realize. Support your local park and recreation department. This quality of life moment brought to you by the Wisconsin Park and Recreation Association.
Welcome back to Oshkosh Today, and now we're with our final guest, Liz Lom from the Lakeside Quilters Guild, here to tell us about a really cool event they have coming up during EAA. So Liz, thank you so much for coming in today.
You're welcome.
And we have some really fun props here as well, all of your creations here. Maybe you want to tell us, it's the EAA Quilt Gathering, right?
Right.
What exactly is it?
Well, this is our 26th EAA Quilt Gathering. So every Thursday of EAA week, we put on a quilt show to share with the community and share with EAA guests the quilting that our guild members have done. It's a free event, and we have vendors, quilting vendors that come and sell their wares. But it's a quilt show of about 80 quilts usually. We have demonstrations. We have a raffle. This is our raffle quilt this year. Because it's our 26th year, our theme is alphabet soup. Oh. So our raffle quilt, each block on the quilt, it starts with a letter of the alphabet, and on the back of the quilt, it lists the names of the blocks. So there are 26 plus 4 corners on here that actually spell soup, S-O-U-P.
That is amazing.
So that is kind of our fun event for the year, for this year. We also have a challenge that members have participated in, and this, I just brought my challenge quilt. I drew the letter G, and so this is a geometry. Oh. So everybody in our participants have a letter, and they will be making a quilt based on that letter.
Okay, so can they pick any word that they want?
They can pick a word.
Okay.
Well, this is a block that was named geometry.
Okay.
Or they could put the letter in the quilt, or they could do whatever, but it has to do with the letter that they were assigned.
Very cool.
So it should be fun.
Creative.
Yeah, it should be fun. As I said, it's a free event.
Mm-hmm.
We source some food if you're interested.
Always interested.
Always interested in food. Some of the vendors do demonstrations on quilting.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, I mean, it's such a cool thing, and I think for people like me, I'm not familiar with the quilting world really, and so I guess that quilt for the auction. It looks, it's folded up a lot right now, but it's big.
Yes.
Queen size quilt.
I believe it's, I don't have the dimensions with me, but I think it's 80 something by 80 something, or maybe 90 something, but I believe it's a queen size quilt.
And who makes the auction quilt?
This raffle quilt is been made by,
the raffle.
Well, the different blocks our group was assigned to a group, members of the group. So about 5 were given a letter, and they came up with a block and made the block. And then a few of the members assembled it and did the quilting and did the border. I know, it's so much. It's a fun quilt.
It's bright and colorful.
Right.
And you said that's the raffle quilt. So how can people win the quilt?
The raffle tickets are $1 a piece or 6 for $5, and you can buy them either from a member of the guild or at our show, which is at the Senior Center North building. And as I said, it's free, so all of this will be displayed there. And even if you're not a quilter, you say you're not familiar with the quilting, it's a visual experience to just come and enjoy the art of quilting. And
I don't think people realize how much work goes into it, and how much planning and everything.
Yes,
and so I think it's really a cool way for those quilters to show their pride and how much work went and just show off their work.
Creativity, lots of fun, lots of skills. So
very cool. Well, maybe you want to talk a little bit about the Quilters Guild,
sure.
The organization.
Sure. We are Oshkosh area, no geographical limitations or whatever. The members are people either interested in quilting or are quilters. You don't have to be a quilter, but we have monthly meetings on the third Wednesday of every month. So tonight we have our meeting, and again at the Senior Center North. And we usually have a presenter showing us some quilting technique, or tonight's a social event. It's a picnic. It's our annual picnic and rummage sale. So we have just fun things. We have about 100 members.
100 members?
Yes.
Wow.
And so it's, so some people are very beginning quilters, and some of them are very expert quilters, as we can evidenced over here. And it's just a whole mixture of people who enjoy the art of quilting.
Wonderful. And you were showing off your name tag to me earlier today.
Yes.
So all of the members create their own name tag.
This is the Lady of the Lake design, and so that's our logo. And so every member has when they become a member, they're given a kit to make their own name tag.
Very wonderful.
And it's part of a drawing. If you're at the meeting and you're wearing your name tag, you could win a prize.
Yes, and that is like different tools and materials, gift cards, things like that. And
well, the prize for the name tag drawing is a gift certificate to Quilt Essentials, which is our local quilt shops here in town. So
definitely usable.
Yes, definitely. So you can get any of those tools or fabric or whatever. Yeah.
Wonderful. So if someone's interested in joining the guild, how can they do so?
Okay, we do have a Facebook. I'm not a Facebook user, so do we call it a page?
Yes, Facebook page.
Okay, we have a Facebook page, Lakeside Quilters. Okay. We also have a website, which is a really long name. It's sites at google.com/this/that. But if you search for it, Lakeside Quilters, it will come up.
Yes.
And there's an email address that's on either of those sites that they could contact us. Or to just show up at a meeting on the third Wednesday at the Senior Center North at 6:30.
Wonderful. And going back to the event, it's open for anyone?
Anybody.
Any price associated with that? I don't know if you mentioned that.
No,
okay.
It's free.
Wonderful.
And you get a little door prize for coming in the door.
Great.
So
and once
we also have a boutique table, so there are several things that people make
available for purchase?
Yep.
Wonderful.
So lots of nicely priced things for gifts and for yourself.
Wonderful. Yes, and I'll have to come by because I love that bag. It's just beautiful, and I can't imagine how many other beautiful things will be there.
Lots of beautiful things on that table.
Really looking forward to it. Thanks again, Liz, for coming in and telling us all about it.
Sure.
We're going to take one more quick break, and when we come back, we will head to Focus on Health with Ted Stefaniak and our friends at Aurora. We'll be right back on Oshkosh Today.
Think being a big sister means you have to spend all day stuck in a library? Think again. To learn more about becoming a big brother or big sister, call 1-888-412-BIGS.
Wisconsin is losing our World War II veterans. If you were a World War II veteran, or you know one who hasn't gone on an honor flight to D.C., please help us. The Wisconsin Broadcasters Association is partnering with all Wisconsin Honor Flight hubs to make sure every eligible vet remaining who served their country so selflessly gets the chance to go. It's time for them to see their memorial. It's time for their flight. To learn more or to make a donation, go to wisconsinhonorflight.org.
Welcome back to Oshkosh Today. Now it's time to focus on health with our friends at Aurora. The topic this week, you may have never heard of intestinal microbial therapy, but once you have, it's unlikely you'll ever forget it. It might seem a little odd, but it does help patients with certain GI symptoms. So let's take a look at what the Focus on Health is this week.
This Focus on Health segment is brought to you by Aurora Healthcare.
Hello and welcome to Focus on Health. I'm Ted Stefaniak. Today we're at the Aurora Medical Center in Oshkosh, where we're going to be speaking with Dan Dukic. Now, he is a nurse practitioner in the GI department along with Dr. Jeff Goldman. We're going to be talking about a subject that many of you may have never heard of before, but it may provide a lot of relief for those suffering from C. diff. Well, Dan, thank you for taking some time to talk about this today. Now, you have many different options for people suffering from gastrointestinal issues, and today we're talking about a specific intestinal therapy.
Mm-hmm. And it is called intestinal microbial therapy, or what we refer as to IMT.
Okay, and tell us what exactly that is.
Well, intestinal microbial therapy is basically a concept of using stool from a healthy donor, which is transferred through colonoscopy or several different routes into actually gastrointestinal tract of a sick person. So it's not a new concept. Basically, how it works, it's the idea of basic bacterial transference, so that, or what I call bacterial interference, basically the use of healthy bacteria which basically pushes away the pathogenic bacteria in someone's intestinal tract. And at this time, we're solely using it to treatment of recurrent C. difficile infection.
For people that are not dealing with the pain and discomfort of the intestinal problems, when you talk about this therapy, what is the reaction to people, and what do you tell people that it actually helps?
Well, usually, of course, you get anything from laughter to puzzle to almost shock and disbelief, because it's such a basic concept, but of course people don't necessarily work with this, and unless you've done your own research, which most people who have recurrent C. difficile infection they have. Most people that I talk to who have this problem, they already know about it. They've done their own research on internet, and so they're a little bit familiar. As for the rest, as basically for general public, most people are still unaware. Again, it's almost it's still fairly experimental procedure actually.
How effective has the procedure been for those suffering?
Okay, it is highly effective. The data that we gathered from FDA sites and basically most evidence-based resources, we're finding out that numbers are different, but basically anything between 92 to 94%. So we're taking about 93% success rate.
Now, who would be a candidate for this therapy?
The candidate for this therapy would be any patient or any person basically that suffers from recurrent C. difficile infection, meaning someone who already had underwent several courses of antibiotic therapy. They typically get vancomycin or flagyl or ciprofloxacin, several different antibiotics. So anyone who has failed several courses of antibiotic therapy, anyone who is still presenting with symptoms congruent with acute C. difficile infection, which is watery, diarrhea, runny stools, cramping, and fever, and somebody who we know for sure who had C. difficile infection confirmed, via testing or colonoscopy.
Sure, and there are other medicines, therapies that are available. Where does this come down the line? Is this towards the last resort?
It is a sort of last resort, absolutely. It probably would be the best way to put it. So basically, when someone has been diagnosed first time with a C. difficile infection, and which is unfortunately it's getting more and more prevalent, not only in the hospital settings, but in the communities in general. So someone who has been diagnosed with a C. difficile would typically be started on the course of appropriate antibiotic, typically vancomycin. And after the first time this person gets sick with C. difficile and is treated with vancomycin or antibiotic, there's about 20 to 30% chance of this recurring. After the second recurrence, basically this number goes up to 60% or above, and basically after the third recurrence, it's simply impossible to eradicate this organism with conventional procedure, conventional treatment, which is antibiotics. So after the third recurrence, there's really no other options. These persons are typically colonized for life, and antibiotics sort of just patch the fire. They can just treat them, for the time being, but they don't really eradicate the organism anymore. And this is where the intestinal microbial therapy comes in place.
Okay. Then one of the questions people might have then is where are there donors for this therapy then?
Absolutely. And again, being it's a fairly new, in a way, still experimental procedure, the things that we found with studies is actually that anybody who's a healthy donor, any healthy donor, person in a fairly good health can be a donor. So that's typically adult child, sibling, spouse, or significant other, or even actually a healthy friend. So we actually had people like that who have friends who have healthy bowel movements or healthy gastrointestinal tract that actually can be donors. So anyone who has good gastrointestinal health and no history of irritable bowel disease or even irritable bowel syndrome.
Yeah. Dan, there are other things that this can potentially help as well.
That is absolutely correct. Right now, again, this is the only treatment we're doing. At this moment, we're only treating recurrent C. difficile infection, but there's a lot of potential, a lot of new research and studies that show that intestinal microbial therapy may be actually really beneficial in the near future for the treatment of irritable bowel disease, such as Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis, but also other things such as irritable bowel syndrome, even autism, and actually there's a lot of new studies talking about potential benefits in the weight loss. So I think as the time goes by, we'll be seeing a lot more research done in this regard, and ideally, probably 5-10 years down the road, we'll be able to use intestinal microbial therapy for these concerns as well.
What's the best way if a patient has been suffering with this for affliction for a while? What's the best way to begin this process and find out more information?
Absolutely. For anyone interested, we can send information through their primary care providers. That usually would be the best way, but we do accept direct referrals, so patients can contact directly Aurora Medical Center, Oshkosh, our gastroenterology office, and we can provide them with information. We would mail them first information, and then if they're still interested, they can bring a potential donor who basically I would meet with a potential donor and a patient or potential recipient, and then I would talk about this procedure in a greater detail with them.
Okay, well, we appreciate you taking some time and sharing that information with us today.
Sure, thank you very much.
Now, if you're dealing with C. diff or any of the other intestinal issues that Dan talked about, this might be the right therapy for you. If you have questions, you can give Dan or Dr. Goldman a call in the GI department, or of course, you can always talk to your primary care provider. Give us a call at 303-8700. I'm Ted Stefaniak, and we'll see you next time on Focus on Health.
This Focus on Health segment has been brought to you by Aurora Healthcare.
Thanks, Ted, and it looks like that is going to do it for this episode of Oshkosh Today. Make sure you tune in to CATV2 for all your community programming. You can check us out at oshkoshcommunitymedia.org for replays of your favorite shows, or go to our YouTube channel and share them with your friends. Of course, you can also hear Oshkosh Today and other programs on the radio at 101.9 WOCT, which is also streaming online on the OCMS website or on the TuneIn Radio app for mobile devices. Don't forget to like our Facebook page or follow us on Twitter for both city and programming updates. And finally, if you're a Pinterest fan, check out our board for the latest snapshots of the city. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, you can email me at emikowski@ci.oshkosh.wi.us. Thanks so much as always for joining us on Oshkosh Today, and we'll see you next time.
Oshkosh Today was supported in part by the Friends of OCM, Aurora Healthcare, 855 North West Haven Drive. Set design provided by House of Flowers, 1920 Algoma Boulevard. To find replay times for Oshkosh Today, to be a guest on the show, or to watch online, visit our website at oshkoshcommunitymedia.org.